Okay, so I like to explain what is this line of code. Okay, so let's first take a look at comment.h. Okay, so this is the code of comment.h, and within comment.h you have a bunch of variable to support the concept of comment. So of course, the first part is what we call the ID, profile ID, post ID, comment ID, author, message, and timestamp of created. But here is the one that's important is called reaction, because every comment has people click like, people love, people feel sad. So essentially, under the comment class, we have a member called reactions Perl. Okay, and the type of the reactions is a pointer to a vector, and that vector itself is a vector of pointer to reaction. So okay, this is a bit complicated, but I'm going to use my PowerPoint to explain this part.
Can I ask really quick?
Sure, go ahead.
In the comment.h, what's the purpose of having the vector object when there's also a reaction? So sorry. In the comment class, what's the purpose of having a reaction object declaration when there's also a reaction.h that also declares a reaction object?
No, here I didn't declare the reaction itself. I just declare I'm using that definition from reaction.h, right? Let me just compare what is a reaction.h. If I understand your question correctly, the reaction, this is reaction, wait a minute. Yeah, the reaction is just this part. So inside reaction, class reaction is provide the definition for the reaction object itself. But in the comment.h, I include the reaction.h because I want to use that definition I just showed you. So because I have include reaction.h, then I can use the reaction here. So this reaction star is the type that I define in reaction. Is that resolve your concern, or you're asking
Yeah,
something different?
that makes sense. Thank
Okay,
you.
okay. So I'm going to first just explain this because this line is a bit complicated. Okay, I'm going to use PowerPoint. Pick. So this is a line I have to parse carefully. Okay. So number one, I define a variable. This is a variable. So reaction is a variable. And reactions type is pointer to a vector of the vector of pointer. Okay, let me make it smaller. Just want to first make sure we're all on the same page before I... Wait a minute. Where's my... Okay. Now I'm actually okay. So I just want to explain this part, and then so we can do that. So I'm going to use the color. So reaction is a variable. So reaction type is a pointer, but I want to say that this first pointer, I'm going to use the red pointer, which is this star. This star is actually referred to this pointer and to a vector. So a vector, let me use a green. The vector is this one, is a green. And then of a pointer. So this pointer, I'm going to use a different color. I'm going to use sky blue. And this pointer is actually representing this one here. Okay, so this is the way I'm actually going to parse this one as well. This one should be also part of the array template. Okay, so first let's try to understand that how do I declare this reaction. So reaction is an array. Reaction is a pointer to a vector of pointer. Okay, so is everybody okay with this this line of code here? Any question? Okay, good. All right, so I'm going to keep this here. Okay, so now you see this line of code here that under comment, I have a member which is called reaction, is a pointer to an array of pointers to reaction object. Okay, so yeah, this is really confused. I was actually explaining to somebody else yesterday. So essentially what we're talking about, let me use this as a vector, assuming this is a vector. So what we're talking about, assuming each of this is a reaction. I call this and reaction, RT. Forget it, just say R. Okay, so I have a bunch of R. No. So I have a bunch of reaction, but they are different reactions. So I'm going to use different color. This one. I'm going to use sky blue. So I have a 3 reaction, but this is a vector. And inside here, I have something I call pointer. I will use this one to represent a pointer. Which one should I pick? I'll just pick this one. I'll just pick this one. So inside here, I have, let me fill it up with this color. And then finally, I can do pointer stuff. Okay, so this is a situation that reaction itself is a pointer that's actually pointing to this vector, while the vector is containing a bunch of pointer, which is pointing to reaction object. Okay, that's what we're looking at. So the whole thing I'm showing you here representing how um, um, this is a data structure for me to collecting all the reaction related to this comment. Okay, that's the way we do it here. So so now we're clear about this line. We know what reactions is. So now let's look at this piece of code. So what I did here is that I'm actually assigning, so this is what we talk about. This is the comment, right? And then this is a reaction object, reactions, which is a pointer to an array of reaction objects. So now I'm essentially assigning this pointer to here. So essentially what I'm doing is that in this particular loop, I'm actually for each of the reaction, because this loop is looped through the JSON for every single reaction that I have. So inside this code, what I did was, which I already redacted here, is that I create the reaction object, and then I append the pointer to this vector. This itself is a vector. If you see vec_c reactions PTR is being defined here. You can see here. This is this type vec_c reaction PTR is exactly the same as the comment pointer to reaction. They're both pointer to a vector of pointer to reaction. They're the same type. So I'm actually inside here, I'm actually building up this one in the loop to take one, I mean, for example, let me just use this as an example. In fact, this part is very similar to this part. This part I was talking about how to parse the reaction from the post itself. And the piece of code you were looking at is actually parsing the reaction from the from the um, from the comment, because reaction actually appear in two parts. One is a reaction to the post, and the other one is a reaction to the comment. But their JSON structure of the reaction itself, they're identical. And also the way you are going to create the reaction object is also identical. So I'm going to show you this part. In fact, this part should be very similar to this part. In fact, it should be exactly the same. If you look at the for loop here, this is the code I already gave you, okay? In the PowerPoint slide, you see there is a loop, right? And at the end of the loop, I think this is actually better for you to understand. If you look at this part, this is a vec reactions. It's not a pointer, but it's actually a VEC reaction is not a pointer to a vector, is just a vector. Okay, this doesn't have a star, but this vector is also a pointer of reaction. So at the end, you can see that how I actually assign. If you look at this piece of code, I'm assigning this one to my post reaction. I'm actually add the M sign because this is not a pointer here. Okay, but if you put a star here, then you actually don't need this M. So you see the similarity between how I'm handling this part and how you're going to handle the part that I just redacted. So, but inside here, it should be identical. Inside this part should be structurally should be the same as this part here. Okay, except it's like because now I use I to handle comments, so I use J. but here I'm actually using the I, but it should be the same. For example, let me just use this part to see duplicate, just do a comparison. So, okay, if you think about this, what was changing is this one now has a star. Now I'm saying reaction under comment. Okay, so here I'm actually changing the star to VC reactions PTR. Is that right? And at the end, it will be this. At the end, where's my? At the end, the last one is this one. Oh no, this line. So I'm going to change this par to this par. And change this, get rid of this to reaction PTR. Okay, if I do this, now let's take a look what need to be changed inside here. Okay, so the first thing, wait a minute, I probably don't need this part already because I already have this part. I'm going to get rid of this. And I don't need this one. Okay, I'm just looking at this inside this part. So number one, this one has become J. Let's change this to J. This is also J. This is also J++. But what is the function prototype? I put it there. I put it here. I put the LJV. Okay, L underscore JV reaction. So this should be on L underscore. Oh no, this part. L underscore JV reaction count and J++. Okay. And this one should be LJV. Okay. But then I have to define a different variable. I will call LJV, maybe call it comment reaction. Okay. Things like that. So now the same thing I'm actually going to do. I might need to change this name. But over here is actually I'm going to do LJV CR, okay? And over here is LJV CR. So this part is actually try to parsing the person part of the reaction. And this part is parsing the time. And this part is actually try to create the reaction object itself. And then I have to do reaction pushback. I'm not going to do react because now I'm PTR. So I'm going to do PTR using this format to do that. Okay, and then this is essentially what you need to fill in. So it's really this part that you need to make sure that your writing is similar to this structure, but is consistent with the J and consistent with the header over here. Okay. So is that helpful for you to understand how you're going to do this part here? Hello?
Yeah, I already implemented it, but I might have done it a bit differently. But I
That's
think
okay.
it
That's
works.
okay. As long as it
Yeah,
works, we don't. But the important thing, I guess, your original question is what is this line means, right?
yeah.
Okay. So do you understand now this what does this line mean?
I'm just a bit confused about what the difference between that line and pushback.
Okay. So no problem. Let me clean up my slide a little bit because I want to move this slides to the end. So let's think about using this picture. So what that line is that I have another. I want to say this. I have another line called comment object pointing to the reactions, right? I have an object called let me draw. Every time I draw object, I like to put the circle. Okay, I have an object, and it's a comment object. It has a variable, which is reaction. Just let me change the font here. I'm a bit picky this morning. Okay, so I have a pointer here under the comment object, and that particular line is basically doing a copying of this reaction object pointing to the same thing. So that line is representing this line. Okay, so that line is really doing is copying this value to this value. Okay, that is this line is doing, and I'll just use a different color. Yeah, I don't like this. Okay, this line is really doing this pointer copy, right? Copy from one pointer to the other. But the pushback is actually try to push another object, which now I'm going to change the color here. Say this color is this. And the pushback is try to push this object going here. Okay, try to push this object, insert it into the end of the cube. Okay, let me use started line. Okay, so essentially this is push. Push is try to insert another pointer to the vector, while the line you saw is actually just copy the value over here. So that's what this line is doing. Okay. So for example, let's look at this line here. So this part of the code, I'm actually trying to build up everything to the to a comment object. Okay. By the way, this area that I just highlighted, it is everything is trying to create a comment object, and the comment object is pointing by this comment pointer, and this comment pointer is going to be insert to that vector, which is a comment vector. So that's why it's pushback. I'm putting the pointer of the comment into that comment vector. That's now you see that each of this is a comment, and then that pushback is basically push that pointer in here. And by the way, this pointer must already have a object that is pointing to as well. Okay, so I'm actually pointing the pointer. When I push the pointer, I'm actually, wait a minute, where's my arrow? When I do this, I'm actually, this pointer is pointing here as well. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. So let me just highlight it. This one is pushback. Okay, is that helpful to understand the difference?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, go ahead.
sorry. Did you create the comment underscore pointer inside of the for loop?
Say it again. Can you repeat your question again?
So within the for loop, or after the for loop, you declared comment underscore pointer arrow reactions in the other slide. Did you like initialize comment underscore pointer within the for loop itself?
The comment pointer, right? The comment pointer.
Yeah.
The comment pointer is being declared and created using new within this loop.
Within the big one?
Within the big one, with the loop indexed by I.
Okay, thank you.
And then the reaction pointer was being done or whatever is within this loop, I think, being initialized within this loop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because I did everything except for the comment underscore pointer in the big loop. So I'll do that.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, any other question regarding this part?
I don't have a question for this part. I have a different question.
Sure. Let me first unshare the screen and stop recording before I